Hello and welcome to another video for Midas Touch Toys, Games and Collectibles. And today, well, we're looking at something that is very old, is incredibly hard to find, and is very, very collectible, despite the condition of this particular annual, which does seem to be one of the hardest annuals to find. So the Thunderbirds annuals from 1971 and 72 were the most difficult, and I think that's because the volume that they produced was a lot less than they had previously been producing. And obviously this annual is based on the 1960s Gerry Andersons Television Series, which ran for, or was produced between 1964 and 1966. It ran for 2 seasons, and it aired on TV. Its original run was from September 30th, 1965 through to Christmas Day, 1966, 25th of December. Obviously, once this series had come to an end, they did actually produce 2 movies. There was Thunderbirds 2086 and Thunderbirds Are Go. So Thunderbirds was still being produced up until 1968, although the 2 films didn't do very well at the box office, and they were eventually edited into 2 episodes and shown on TV as individual episodes of Thunderbirds. Okay, there was a total of 2 seasons of episodes produced, plus the films, and which is 32 in all. Thunderbirds did go on to be repeated quite regularly by ITV throughout the 70s and really up to the beginning of the 80s. However, after that, they didn't air them anymore. BBC did pick up a radio show in 1990, and it had a massive popularity, which then basically made the BBC go out and purchase the rights to show the original Thunderbirds television series, and it aired back on BBC 2. I think it was September of that year, and the rest was history. It became very popular again, spawned an awful lot of merchandise, and had one of the most popular toys of the year, and which went on to win the Toy of the Year award. Anyway, that's another story. Let's get on to this annual, because this is the 1972 Thunderbirds Annual, which was released late in 1971 by Polystyle Publications. This is the annual in front of us, and it says Thunderbirds Annual, and you've got an image of Thunderbirds 2 and Thunderbirds 3 at the front blasting off, and it's got based on Gerry Andersons' popular television series, and you've got the Polystyle Publications logo on the right hand corner. Okay, that's the front of the annual. Let's turn it over to the back, and on the back you can see you've got Thunderbird 3 there flying through space, I should say. Now, as I said, this particular annual is not in the best of conditions. There is quite a lot of markings on the back and some scuffs and so on, but it is one of the rarest ones to find, so really any condition you can pick these annuals up in is always going to be a bonus. Okay, so that's the back cover. Let's have a very quick look at the spline, and on the spline it says Thunderbirds Annual 1972. Okay, that's the cover. Let's open it up and let's have a look inside. Okay, so I have opened the front cover, and the very first thing I can see is that some of the pages has come out of this annual at some point, because there is some tape marks down the centre of the spline there, which is holding the pages back in position. You can notice it more so with the book in front of you rather than looking at it on a camera. Yeah, sadly some of the pages has come out, but they have been very neatly reattached, and they are all present. Okay, so there we have a wonderful image from the TV show, Thunderbirds 2 just coming out of the hangar on Tracy Island and about ready to blast off for an international rescue mission. Okay, so let's move over to the first page, and it says contents: Invisible Invader, Parker, Lady Penelope, Doomwave, Zero X, The Lawbreakers. And then you've got puzzles, quiz, page 47-48, answers 61, and features rescue 13 and 41. And then you can see an image of Thunderbird 1 on its launch pad, beneath the circular building. It says printed in Great Britain by Purnell and Sons, Poulton, Bristol, published for the properties by Polystyle Publications Limited, Polly Perkins House, 382-386 Edgware Road, London, W2. Trade distributors, the Argos Press Limited, 12 to 18 Paul Street, London. And it's copyright Polystyle Publications, 1971. And you've got the SBN number, and you've got the 50p original cover price there, which has got the dashes there for you to cut off to price clip it if you're giving it away to someone and you don't want them to know how much it cost. Okay, so on to the first story, and this is called The Invisible Invader. And then you can see it's a full colour comic strip story. I'm just going to be a bit careful with these pages because they do feel like if I pull them too hard they will come out, and I don't want that to happen. There is some bulging along the side. I don't really want to cause any damage to these pages. As you can see, they have started to come away at the bottom, but it's still a very, very good readable copy of this annual, even though it's not in fantastic condition. But there we go. So we're still on the same page there, same story, and that's a nice colour comic strip story, which ran for 7 pages. And then it comes on to Apollo 13, Lifeboat in Outer Space. And that's all about the Apollo 13 mission. You can see again there's a little bit more tape there, which is holding the pages into position. And then we have a comic strip for none other than Parker, Lady Penelope's chauffeur, butler, all-round assistant, and so on. Again, you can see the pages beginning to come away here and here. But yeah, still a great story, and they're all still intact, although partly loose. But again, lovely comic strip story, featuring, well, not just Parker, but all of the Lady Penelope as well there. That was all one story, I think. Yes, it was. That was all the Parker story. Yep, and there it has happened. That page has come loose. So we are going to have to reattach that page at some point. Okay, and then we come on to the next story, which is Thunderbirds Doomwave. And again, that is a story featuring international rescue, and they go on a mission to save something or other. Okay, I'm trying to whiz through it without causing any more damage to the pages because I don't want any more of them to fall out. It is a very delicate annual, but I've got to show you this annual because it's absolutely brilliant, even though the pages are still quite loose, but the annual itself is amazing. So Zero X, again, this was another of the Anderson stories that they made, but it never went to screen. Even though they tried to pitch it to television, it didn't actually make it to screen. It only stayed in comic, and it is a black and white story with one colour. So they called it the what do they call them? I can't think of the name they called them now. Monocolour, that's the word I was looking for. So it is in monocolour, and it is like a burgundy monocolour in this particular story. Again, you can see where tape has been attached to keep these pages in their attached state. Buried Alive, this is evening of Friday, 24th October 1963, 129 men were working the after-night shift deep below the surface of the Lenegade iron ore mine near Brunswick, Lower Saxony, West Germany. Without warning, a dam hole in the water used to process the iron ore gave way, and a torrent of mud and water flooded the mine shaft and underground workings. 79 miners, alerted by a phone call, groped their way in the dark, for all lights had gone out, until they found an air shaft that offered the means of escape. They were the lucky ones, for by midnight they had all climbed ladders to the surface 4 hours after the disaster had struck. So it tells you all about their story and how they got out and what happened to that particular mine shaft. And then there's another story of Parker, and this time it's in monocolour as well. Just a couple of pages, that one. And what is this? Which is a quiz, and the pages are on, answers are on page 61, and the same on that side there. Any ideas? None. Okay, the Lawbreakers, which is another Thunderbird story. International rescue. Off they go again to rescue more people. And again, you can see there's tape there, which is holding the pages together. But again, it's a lovely full colour comic strip story. The artwork is just incredible on these stories. For the time, just absolutely amazing. Really, really nice images and colours. Lady Penelope, ordeal for Parker. Again, that's a full story featuring her ladyship and Parker. And then we come over to the answers to the quizzes from page 47 and page 48. And there is the final page, which is inside the back cover, which is of Thunderbird 1 and the Firefly beneath the Thunderbird 1, obviously going on to some mission. Okay, that is the annual. So, not the best of conditions annual. It's still certainly a very, very good readable copy. We have had better versions of this a long time ago, but this is the first one we have had in quite a few years. So I did feel the need to actually show you this particular annual, because I do think the stories and the articles inside it are absolutely fantastic. So, how well did these annuals do? Well, like all annuals, it was staple diet for all of us at Christmas to receive an annual in our stockings or in our Christmas sacks. There was no such thing as video recorders, DVD players, internet streaming services, nothing like that. You had 3 channels, BBC One, BBC Two and ITV. If you missed your programme, tough, you missed it. You either wait for a rerun, and that was the only thing you could do, was wait for a rerun. So don't miss your show. Simple as that. That was the times, or what you was told back in those days. It could take years before a rerun came on the screen. Fortunately, with Thunderbirds though, the TV series was rerun on Saturday morning kids television. So we did have the opportunity to watch the Thunderbirds episodes that we missed on Saturday mornings, which was fortunate, because obviously, you know, if you go on holiday and you missed it. So there we are. And they did rerun the whole Thunderbirds episodes right up until really the early 80s, or 1980, I think, is when they decided to pull the plug on Thunderbirds, and that was it. And ITV didn't air it again until the brand new series Thunderbirds Are Go in 2017. But other than that, Thunderbirds had come to an end as far as ITV was concerned. The BBC, however, did pick up the franchise. They first used it on Radio 5 and done a few audio stories, which were very popular, which prompted the BBC to go out and buy the rights to the original 1960s Thunderbirds television series, and they aired it consequently on BBC Two, and the popularity expanded again. But anyway, I've digressed. Back to 1970s. Annuals were very popular. As this moved on from the show, and although the Andersons was no longer making Thunderbirds, by the 1970s they were doing things like UFO and Space 1999. So the whole popularity of Thunderbirds was dwindling, I would say. So I think the number of annuals produced was a lot less for 71 and 72, hence the reason why there's a lot less out there nowadays. But they obviously done what they needed to do. They sold out the annuals back in the day, and the rest was history. So let's move forward then to 53 years on from the point of release of this annual to today. We're in December 2024. Does this annual come up very often? The answer to that is no. This particular one and the 1971 annual really doesn't come up very often. And when they do, they usually sell very, very quickly because they are so hard to find in any condition. Condition is always key, obviously, so the better condition you can find, the better the item, the more enjoyable the item. This particular one, I say, not the best of condition that we've seen, but it's still a very, very good readable copy of the annual, despite what anyone else may think. It's a very good readable copy. They don't come up for sale very often on the platforms, so if you do see one and you do want one, I would suggest you buy it when you see it, because they are so few and far between, these particular ones. But again, buying on a platform, be careful. Make sure you look at what you are buying, because a lot of them use stock photographs and you may look like you're buying a new annual and it's not. So just be careful. Or alternatively, you can come to us at Midas Touch, and what you see on our website is exactly what you get. And all the new items are accompanied with videos, as this one is. Now, we only have this one copy of this particular annual, and you've seen the condition of this particular one. As I say, it's not the best of conditions, but it is still a very good readable copy. And it is available to purchase on the Midas Touch website, which you can get to very simply by clicking the link below. It will take you straight to the website, where you'll be able to find this and many other vintage Gerry Anderson items, and many other vintage toys, games and collectibles. Come to that. There's over 10,000 products currently available on the website for you to view and purchase at your leisure. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're uploading videos for every new item that goes into the website. There will be something for everybody, and I am absolutely positive this is something that you're not going to want to miss, because we literally have thousands and thousands of new items which we're shooting videos for and uploading on a daily basis. So if there's something in particular you're looking for, something old you've never been able to find, something quirky you might want to buy for a friend, or perhaps just something from your childhood that you'd like to own again to help you recuperate those long-lost childhood memories, well, stay tuned, keep watching, because you never know the next item we upload could be that item you've been looking for. Okay, that is it for me on this particular item. I do hope you've enjoyed reviewing this wonderful old Thunderbirds annual with me. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next video. So bye for now.